Hey guys, it's Keysh here, and happy Sunday. So, Sundays are days to do something a little different. Today, we're actually going to go through all my fiction books, just tell you what I got, really. This is all of my young adult fiction, because I've been collecting books for the longest time. The thing is, like, my story with books is just I would collect them and then move, and then I would give them away, collect them, move, give them away. But after high school, I did keep a good amount, especially my cousin Claire and a few others. But I did lose a lot of good books through the years, especially us PCSing. On my shelves, I do have candles because I love candles. So I have candles. I have my PS4 controllers and some verses that my kids always give me, and little knickknacks that they give me. Like my daughter made this one for me, and little squishmallows and gummy bears because they're trying to find the gold. If you know, then you know. So now that we're gonna go through all this, let me show you what I do have. I am dealing with short people problems, so I'm gonna use The Bane Chronicles, Lady Midnight, Lord of Shadows, Queen of Air and Darkness. I will say I did like how they did these, and I just I got in the wine a little too late, so it just didn't work out. I have Ghost of Shadow Market. We have Clockwork Angel. I got these when they had these designs, which I loved, and I wish I would have known, but it's a little too late for that by the time I had them. Clockwork Prince, Clockwork Princess, and again, the designs. This Chain of Gold, Chain of Iron, and Chain of Thorns. I love my hardcovers, but man, they're so expensive. Into the Mortal Instruments, we have City of Bones. I actually got this one for $2. And I have another bookmark in it. So I did reread it, and there's a picture of me and my husband in here. So I'm going to keep that in there. City of Ashes. And these were the original covers. So I really like these because they had the original covers. City of Glass, City of Fallen Angels, City of Lost Souls, City of Heavenly Fire. So this is a big baby. The Shadowhunter Codex, and you have Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy. I do have Alex Finn's Beastly. I love this book through and through. I don't know how many times I read it, but I freaking loved it. And I ended up getting the copy years and years and years later after I reread it multiple times. That's why it looks so new, and it has this cover on it and not the book cover. But if I was found the book cover, I would have had that. And I did read The Ocean at the End of the Lane. Yeah, I did like this book, but I know that Neil Gaiman is controversial, so there's that. For this other series that I did enjoy, I'm gonna sit down because I just got a tattoo. So I do have a few books that I really enjoyed, and they've gotten lots of love. Also, I did get these from the library book sale. Only one of them I purchased myself, like full price. So I do have Beautiful Creatures. I enjoy this one through and through multiple times. Like, this was a good book, and it continues to be a good book. I do want to do a reread of all my fiction. So again, Beautiful Creatures. I have Beautiful Darkness, the second book in the series. I got this one at a used bookstore, looks like. Yeah, it was at a used bookstore. So this is the second book in the series. I also got this one which is Beautiful Chaos, and it's the third book in the series. Beautiful Redemption, which is the fourth one. This one actually came from the library book sale as well. And this one I bought myself. Because of the sticker, this was definitely Books a Million. But $19, damn. This is Dangerous Deception, and I am missing a book in the series, and it's Dangerous Creatures, which I read, and I just couldn't get a hold of it. I did order through Target, but they sent me the wrong book. But with this one, and it's kind of like a spin-off to the main story. This next section is a little long. I will give you a heads up. I have all the books that I could possibly imagine by Ellen Hopkins. And the backstory. Tricks was actually my first book that I read of Ellen Hopkins. I was in 8th grade. It was the last day of 8th grade, I believe, or a day or two before graduation, something like that. Someone left the book there, and when we walked for lunch, I would sneak in and read it, and I would put it back, but I would sneak in and read it because, well, I would have been a big reader. And this opened my eyes to the outside world in ways that I was not expecting. So it just it went down a line. But yeah, I love the author's writing, and I just love how you can actually connect to it. So yes, I loved it. But then I went and took this home with me because it was the last day of school. I took it home with me. Then I went and returned to the library, and then ended up finding Traffic, which is the sequel to this, to Tricks, and from there I read her whole collection. From the beginning, in alphabetical order, which is how I'm going to show them to you. I have Burned, Closer to Nowhere. So this is more of her newer stuff. This one, I read it after I was married. I didn't read this one until I was married because it wasn't at my library, but this one's Collateral. And it's crazy because, well, at the time, I was a freshly new military wife. So that was a crazy experience. Then we have Crane, which also has a few other ones that go with it. This is even though it is fiction, this does have to do with the author's daughter's life. We have Fallout, this one, Glass, Identical, Impulse. I actually did enjoy Impulse, and it made me sad, but I did enjoy this one. Love Lies Beneath, People. I don't know if YouTube puts videos down for saying that, but here's the cover. Perfect, Rumble. I thought this one was really good too. I did really like Perfect and Identical. I honestly enjoyed all her books, and a lot of the teenage ones are real relatable. A Sin Such as This. This one is Smoke. Again, I loved all her books, which is why I have them all. Tilt. If you've never read them, maybe give them a try. I will look up the triggers first. Traffic. Triangles. This is more of an adult book of hers. Obviously, Tricks. What About Will? And The You I've Never Known. I feel like I got most of her books at a Books a Million, because I definitely did not get them at Barnes & Noble. I really do think I got them Books a Million, and a few of them I got at a different used bookstore. The next batches, well, it's a lot. So I do have Holly Jackson's A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, Good Girls, Bad Blood, As Good as Dead, One Flew Over a Cuckoo's Nest. So for this one, it was all due to me watching Ratchet, and that's how I ended up here. And like Ratchet, the show with the lady from the American Horror Story. That's what I'm talking about. Now this series, oh my god, not the first book to this series, but man, do I love it, and I am going to read this whole series. It's one of those things where, like, when you need a palate cleanser, you pick up like a different genre. That is me. But the I Am Number 4 series, I loved, and this one's The Rise of 9, and this is just the third book in the series. But yeah, I think this is the first time when I saw this that I ran into like sprayed edges. But this book series is so good, and if you know me, I like the actor. Then I have One of Us is Lying as well. I don't have One of Us is Next, so I am missing that one. And Two Can Keep Secrets. And if you've seen Pretty Little Liars, you know it says if one of us is dead. The next parts are just series and series and series. I have The Assassin's Blade. So good. My god, so good. Obviously, Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, Fire of Fire, Queen of Shadows, and these I did get them at a used bookstore. I don't like having a cover that has one and then the other, which I did run into because the original cover was the original covers were no longer available, and these were also hard to find. Empire of Storms, Tower of Dawn. This is what I mean. Like, Kingdom of Ash. I also got the Twilight series, and I read this 6th grade, I believe. 6th, 7th grade, something like that. I think it was 6th grade. I think it was 6th grade. But I read it all. And, ooh, did I like, I think this is the first time I learned about annotation when I read Twilight. But, oh, I was so obsessed. New Moon books, that's why I have them, because it was, I enjoyed it. Eclipse, which I wish I had the original cover, but yeah, same thing with my Twilight one, but that's fine. Breaking Dawn, ooh, this is a big one too. And Life and Death. So I have not read 2 of the books in the series, but I need to get to it. This one is in a case, and I'm not taking it out of the case. So I have The Lightning Thief, Sea of Monsters, The Titan's Curse, The Battle of the Liberan, and The Last Olympian. Also, Percy Jackson, Greek Gods. So I love the series. I read it going into 10th or 11th grade. One of the two. I cannot remember. But somebody I was friends with at the time told me it was really good, and I should read it, and then I listened to my friend. I read it. I think I was in 11th grade or senior year when I read this one. This one I did get used, and it's Divergent. It's interesting stuff. I don't think it was my dog, so I don't know. I think I really got this book like this because it was really cheap. Insurgent, I have Alliant, also from the used bookstores, $5. Like, that lets you know how good the bookstore was. I have 4, also from the used bookstore, which just costs more than the other ones. Like, crazy. But then this other one is a huge, like, guilty pleasure that I read from, I think, I will say 5th grade, because this kid, Luke, was the one that actually got me into reading these, and I loved it. And that would be Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. And it has all the whole 3 collections in here. I love this. Next series, though, oh my god, I went to Barnes and Noble and could not find them, but I went to Half Price Bookstore and I did find them. And I actually love this series. I got introduced to this series, I'm going to say 8th grade? Beginning of 8th grade, end of 7th grade going into 8th grade, because I was in a different state. So it was definitely there because they did not have it at the new school that I went. But I have all 12 books, and that is Circuit of Freaks, like the whole book series. I have A Living Nightmare, and if you know, you know. The Vampire's Assassin. I loved this movie. That's just me. I love this movie. So I liked a different cover that they had, but they just didn't have all the books with the same cover, so I went with this one. This one's Tunnels of Blood, Vampire Mountain, and I just really loved the series. I have not read any of the other stuff because I was a little, like, scared. Trials of Death. Not scared as in, like, oh my god, like, it's freaky. Just, the topic, like, the whole, like, devil stuff, and I was like, oh my god, I'm going to hell. So I didn't read it. The Vampire Prince, sorry. Hunters of the Dusk. That's this one. Allies of the Night. Killers of Dawn. You can hear all my books like falling. And out of these, I only have one hardcover, which is fine. I think it was like $1. It was $1 more. The Lake of Souls. I don't like having soft covers and hardcovers in the same series, but I mean, books are not cheap. Lords of the Shadows, and surprisingly, this is more expensive than the hardcover one. Maybe because they're like the older ones, they're newer ones, and Sons of Destiny. So that completes the whole series of the Circuit of Freaks. I loved it. I feel like reading the books that the series that I read as like middle schooler and early high schooler is such a guilty pleasure compared to like reading all the adult stuff now. But another guilty pleasure, the Pretty Little Liars series. Okay, so I had searched for these, and the thing is, like, I wanted them to be in like this format. Like, I wanted the covers to match the dolls. I remember reading this in middle school and I freaking loved it, and I still do. I really love this series. So I will be giving a reread to these. Maybe my kids will be into it when they're older. This one's Flawless. Perfect. I think I'm showing you guys how old I am. If you know me, then you know how old I am. But still, Unbelievable. Wicked. And I have a few hardcovers, but it was so hard to find hardcovers for these. This one's Pretty Little Liars, Pretty Little Secrets, sorry. And this is like, I think this is the part where like they switch over to another season, or like it's a holiday one. Killer. Heartless. Wanted. I think I want to do one of those videos where like we follow the show and see like where they line up. Maybe. Twisted. Ruthless. Stunning. Burned. Crushed. Deadly. Toxic. I was gonna say, I know I have one in black. Vicious, which I mean, makes sense. And Allie's Little Lies, Pretty Little Lies. That is the whole Pretty Little Liars series. I also really enjoy the Vampire Diaries series, but along with everybody else, I was so frustrated when, like, the characters didn't match the way the books portrayed them. So I hate that. So, like, authors, please, like, if you want the characters to look a certain way, like, don't fuck it up. You're fucking it up for all of us. Now, the last few books are combined into, like, 3 books in a book. My first start with scary books was actually Goosebumps. And for that, R.L. Stine will probably be my favorite. But as I got older, Goosebumps wasn't doing it because I read all the Goosebumps books and I needed something else. But sure enough, he had another series called The Fear Street. So I devoured the Fear Street books. My mom was not too thrilled about Goosebumps. Definitely not thrilled about me reading Fear Street, which wasn't even bad, to be honest. But this one is the beginning, and in the beginning, I think it has the beginning and the end. I think it's how it goes. I can't remember. Actually, no. So it's not that beginning. This one has the new girl, the surprise party, the overnight, and missing. So there's 4 books in this series. I actually need to find the other one. Like, I need my husband to take me to the bookstore. So I don't really like going to the bookstore when it can get really crowded. So I just don't go. But I'm missing that one. And I actually did enjoy that one, which makes me a little sad because I did enjoy, like, the tale of the beginning, the end. I don't remember what it was called, but I will find out later and tell you guys. This one actually has 2 books in it, and it's Super Thriller Nightmares. This one has a dead boyfriend and Give Me a Kill. So I think this is the one with the cheerleaders in the front, if I remember correctly. I cannot remember, to save my life, what the normal cover looks like. Because remember, these are not the normal covers. So yeah, this one has 2 books in it. And then this one also has 2 books in it. This one is Fear Street Super Thriller Secrets. And it's The Lost Girl and Can You Keep a Secret? So yes. I really love the series. And I read all of them, if not most of them, which I do want to go back and read because guilty pleasure. Like, it is such a guilty pleasure. Then we have these other books that my husband got me when they first came out. And these are, like, the stories of the Disney villains. We have Fairest of All, which is the tale of Wicked Queen. The Beast Within, a tale of Beauty's Prince. And then Poor Unfortunate Soul, which is a tale of a sea witch. And you know who each of them are. I do like these. It has the villains on the cover, themselves. And, like, you see here, like, I don't know. I like it. It's nice. Let me see. Yeah, like, the 3 that I have are these. My phone ended up running out of storage while I was saying goodbye to you guys. Thank you for staying with me during this time, and I will see you guys on Thursday for another book review. I'm actually really excited for the next 2 book reviews because I really enjoyed these next 2 books that I will be talking about. So, that being said, I will see you next one. Bye, guys.